Hey, what's up, YouTube? I'm gonna go over this sauer nightmare. It's a 1911. This is actually the first 1911 I've owned. I probably bought this about. I shot 1911s before, but before this, but it's my first one I owned. Probably bought this, four years ago, something like that. At that time, when I bought that, it was an accident. Went to the gun range, and my gun shop had like 25% off all 1911. So I went shooting, came out. He was like, "Hey, there's 1911s, all of them 25% off." So I like the looks of this. Bought it, didn't even go back to the range to shoot it. Do it in my room. Didn't care about it too much. I don't know why. I was so into other things at that time, so I don't know. But long haul, this is one of my favorite pistols. Now there's way better 1911s out there. But the thing is, if you get a good 1911, you can mod it. So that's the great thing about 1911s. I happen to keep this one original. I got rid of a lot of guns, but I have not got rid of this one, mainly because it's damn near impossible to find. You ain't, even if you go on Gun Broker or something like that, you might find one or two, and they're pretty high in price. This one is an 8-rounder. You can get a flush fit if you want to. I kind of like that down there, but they do have a flush fit. Pros and cons of it. One thing is, I don't like the safety on it. I wish it was out a little bit more. Now, like I said, I could customize it and get a, better safety. And the reason why I say that with the safety is because, especially with 911s, when you go to shoot, of course this is empty, but okay, it's on safety. When you pull it out to shoot, you're gonna want to pull down the safety and you ride it, and it helps on recoil. Well, with this being so short, it's hard to ride it, kinda. Where this is my staccato. This one is very wide, so if I pull it down, it's way more comfortable for me to ride. But that's not a knock on 1911s or Pro for 2011s. It's just this specific 1911 I got, and this is going to be very easily fixed for it. I just have to change that out. This is not a ambidextrous, so if you're left-handed, you got a shot out with that. But I kind of happen to like that it's just on one side, because almost everything I got is ambi, but it could be a flaw for some people. But when I bought this, I didn't even really care. It was 25% off. I love the trigger. The trigger pull on this thing is fucking amazing. But little slack. But that's gonna be on all 1911s, 2011s. This thing, you point and shoot, you're hitting a target. It's great. I wish that the serrations were deeper, but that's the problem with SIG, which pisses me off. They got great customer service, one of the best. like their P320s and all that, their serrations, or just for looks, for not for practical use. They're very like these, especially if you spent minimum about $600 or something for a Sig. Their serrations are shitty. Um, like my FN 509, these serrations are great. My staccato, they're great. I mean, you get your fingers caught up in there. You pulling back that slide. The FN is great. Sigs are really bad with their serrations. That's one thing that I wish I was a big time YouTuber. Like people actually listen to me, where Sig could get a hold of. Like, oh wow, yeah, we need to change that up. But yeah, their serrations, even the newer models, are really crappy. The hammer on this has these serrations on it, but again, these serrations are shitty. These serrations are almost for like looks. It's almost feels like they're smoothed out. Very shitty. It's just for looks. Almost kind of like how their slide serrations are, but on a lot of 1911s, you ain't gonna even have that stuff, and the good ones, so it's not a big deal. Great. This gun, this one got night sights, but man, I love this gun. I think it's a sexy looking gun, and not being overly like going crazy with it. It just has that right amount to be classy. It's this is one of my favorite carry guns. 1911s and stuff I love as a carry. It's with your double safety. A lot of people don't like that. I don't know. With my hands, I don't have problems with the hand safety, and with this, I mean, when you train, you pull it out, and I get disarm both safeties almost quicker than, well, basically quicker than, or it's not quicker, but about the same amount of time if I had pulled out a Glock, which is a finger trade. Safety is just, while I was coming out, the safeties are deactivated and shoot, ready to go. One thing that's great about the 2011 style is it's less take up. And what that means is the less trouble you have, the less mess ups you have. The less mess ups you have, whatever you point at is going to get hit. So the recoil on this is great. This is a 45. This one particularly, I never had a jam. Nothing at all. This thing, flawless. And like I said, I had this thing about 4 or 5 years. This thing is never had a hiccup at all. Don't matter what grain or what I put in it, it ate it up, shot it out, and asked for more. But like I said, for any gun enthusiast, you have to have a 1911. A lot of people are so biased against not biased, but so against 1911s. And I kind of was the same way. I bought this just because it was 25% off. Even though I spent more than I wanted to, I just wanted to shoot that day. But, and the same thing with people feel about Glocks. Don't knock it until you try it. You know, you might feel, and actually even trying it, people try it with the wrong cheap shit or whatever. They'll get a 1911, the beaver tails hanging down. I had one guy tell me that every time he put his hand, the beaver, it's jigging his hand, and he turned them off to it. You know, I don't know what the comparison is. It's like my first Glock I bought probably was, I don't know, 20 years ago. I don't know, forgot. But that thing is ugly. I don't care what anybody says, the Glock is fucking ugly. It looked better after I bought it. They're like, oh, it don't look that bad. It was probably the same thing with, like I said, I didn't want a 1911, and I got it, and I'm like, wow, this thing is freaking great. It's single stack, so it's slimmer than a lot of guns. So it's like really comfortable to carry, especially being not a compact weapon. Um, yeah, this is supposed to be about the Nightmare, but this is just mainly about 1911 period. If you don't have a 1911, buy one. Buy a decent one at least, so you don't prove your point. You don't like them. But you have different brands, Kimber to Rock Island to, I mean, you go up high in prices with it. But the thing, like I was saying is like they're so customizable. So if you owned a Glock before and you get a 1911, what you don't like in it, you can customize it. I just happen to love how this one is. Like I said, I'm in debate of changing this safety, but how the gray is on here and stuff like that, um, I I don't know if it's gonna be hard for me to like match it where the safety just stands out from how the gray is on the trigger and everything. It has a on this camera, it's not gonna justify it, but this gray on here is much different than a lot of grays that I experience in other guns. But like I said, I love this 1911. You guys have to get a 1911. They're wonderful, reliable. And it's not gonna say, I'm not saying you don't like your Glock or Sig, I mean whatever, Striker Fire better, but you have much appreciation of a iconic weapon. It's just like revolvers. I think everybody should own a revolver too. It's just me. I don't mean you have to carry it all the time, but when you have a revolver, you want to be like, when you hold a revolver and you like, yeah, this is the shit right here. So this is my Sig Nightmare in 45. Hope you like the video.